Hello, ladies and gentlemen, please move in the front. If you have seats next to you, if you could raise your hand, that would be great for logistic reasons and for crowd control. Let us know you have seats. The people down here, if we could raise our hands if you have empty seats next to you. Thank you. One hand. Can we get more hands going up? Let us know we have empty seats. I should see more hands because I see a lot of empty seats. Yep, thank you. Be proud about it. Raise your hand proudly. Yes, this is awesome. Appreciate you so much. Yes, I see more hands coming up. This is awesome. Beautiful. Keep the hands up or push in so people can come sit next to you. I love it. I love this for us. All right, wonderful.
Yeah. If it doesn't come, I'll go get it for you. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure in a second you can. Scott
This is
Hetherington.
about typically like 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Is that
perfect.
okay? Is there a hard stop time? 1
No,
o'clock or
that's fine.
anything? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay down here when I speak.
Testing. Is it turned on? Can you hear me?
Get right up in there.
Are we good? Are we good? Here we go. Miss Browning. I think they're all set. Ninth and 12th graders. Hello. May I have your attention, please? Students, if you have your phones out, please silence them and then put them away. I'll give you a minute to do that. Are you all set? Good afternoon, Phoenix family. I'm honored to have the opportunity to introduce you to somebody who has dedicated his life to making other people's lives better. I first met the founder of the Will to Live Foundation when he came to speak to my students at Northview High School. I was deeply moved by his story and by his ability to turn unimaginable heartache into a mission to raise awareness about mental health and to spread hope. Day after day, he does something that most people are afraid to do or don't know how to do. He teaches us to be vulnerable and to have real conversations, because a conversation could potentially save somebody's life. In a world where we are always looking down at a cell phone and often sitting alone, here is someone who encourages us to look up and connect with a friend, because those human connections and a sense of belonging are, in the end, the reason why we're here. In the spirit of hope and belonging, please join me in welcoming the accomplished speaker, author, former Red Sox pitcher, and president and founder of the Will to Live Foundation, Mr. John Troutwine.
Thank you, Jean.
Okay, good afternoon, gang. It's great to be here. I hope everybody's doing well. And this is my first time at Innovation Academy, although I've driven past it 1,000 times, not really realizing what was going on here. And I'm so impressed and so pleased to be able to spend some time with you guys today. So let me start by letting you know of the goal. What's my goal today? My goal today is over the next 45 minutes is that I get you all to think about yourselves just a little bit differently. And when you go to bed tonight and you're brushing your teeth and you're looking at yourself in the mirror, I'm hoping that you're going to be thinking about the relationships in your life and the power that you have to deliver hope to those people that are so special to you, and understand the power that they have to deliver hope to you. So I'm going to start here by introducing my family. So we're the Troutwines. My wife Susie. We have 4 children, Will, Tommy, Michael, and Holland. We live in Johns Creek. We've been here for 30 years. My kids all graduated from Northview High School. I went to Barrington High School, which is a suburb of Chicago. I went on to Northwestern University, where I have a degree in chemistry. But during that time at Northwestern, I also played baseball there. And my wife went to University of Virginia, and she played 2 sports there. She played field hockey and lacrosse. And the reason I'm telling you this, guys, is that what this means is that we were on very competitive teams for a long time. But what's really been interesting about that is that even though my baseball career is long gone, and by the way, after college, I signed with the Montreal Expos. That shows you how old I am. They don't exist anymore. But I did spend 7 years in professional baseball, 6 of them in the minor leagues, and 1 year in the major leagues with the Boston Red Sox. If you Google me, you'll be disappointed I wasn't that good. But again, I had a lot of teammates. And what I didn't realize at the time was just the impact that those teammates that I had throughout my life would have on me so many years later. And it's not just sports teammates. It's my family are my teammates. My classmates were my teammates. I was in the band when I was young. I was in various clubs when I was in high school. I was on many teams, and today I'm a 62-year-old guy. I'm on a marketing team. I'm on a sales team. I'm on an executive team. I'm on a sales and marketing team. I'm on a customer team. I have never stopped being on teams. And this is so important for all of you guys to understand this, because you guys are all on a team. Right now, you're on one big team. Lots of clubs here. There's a robotics team. There's a fencing team. There's a math team. There's so many other clubs that are teams. You have teammates in your lives, and they are facing the same challenges that you are facing. And so my family heard all of the teammate cliches. Good teams win, but great teams love each other. My kids heard it all. Right now, I am and have been for the past 25 years, I am the Chief Customer Officer. That means I'm in sales and marketing for a global IT services company that's in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Happy family, successful. We have a good life. My wife and I have a wonderful marriage. She's nuts about me. I'm nuts about her. And if you were to ask people in my neighborhood about the Troutwines, they would tell you, yeah, they're living the dream. The Trouts got it going. But the dream came to an absolute crushing end when our oldest child, our son Will, who was a freshman at Northview High School at the time, 15 years old, took his life. Video's supposed to play here. Oh, sorry, guys. He was big. He was strong. He was healthy. He was successful. He was a good athlete. He was a musician. He wrote songs. He played music. He was a lead singer in a band. He was the leader of his friends. He was the captain of his lacrosse team. He was the consultant of his friends. And we lost him. We had no idea that that young man was struggling in any way, shape, or form. If somebody would have told me that my son Will was struggling from some form of mental illness, if they would have told me that your son has depression, I would have gotten pissed off. I'd have said, he's a trout wine. He's fine. Back off. You know why, guys? Because I didn't know what depression was. I was uneducated, and I was unaware that it is a mental illness. It is a physical illness of the brain. It's treatable, it's beatable, it's common, and it's okay, but nobody talks about it. Will never told a friend. He never told anyone that he was struggling in any way, shape, or form. We thought he was perfect. The night before he died, we went to dinner at Verrazano's in Johns Creek, and we had pizza, and I tested him on a test that he studied really hard that he was going to take at 10 o'clock the next morning. He knew every answer to every question I asked him. He studied really hard for a test he never took. Dad, on Saturday, I'm reffing at Newtown Park. Can we get up at 9 so that I can go to the Department of Transportation and get my driver's permit? My son took his life the day before he was going to get his driver's permit. Mom, am I getting my braces off next week or in 2 weeks? 4 years of braces for a 15-year-old. Coming off, finally. Dad, on Halloween, which was in 2 weeks, my band is going to play in the cul-de-sac. Here's our song list. Isn't this awesome? If you would have told me he was struggling in any way, shape, or form, I would have said, no way. His friends would have said, no way. His brothers would have said, no way. His sister would have said, no way. And that weekend of his death, people started coming out of the woodwork to tell me about mental illness in their lives, and depression and anxiety and the struggling and the stress and the potential suicide and the attempted suicide and the completed suicides. It was all over the place, and I never knew this because nobody ever talks about it. I didn't know that 1 in 5 of us in this room, not just the kids, 1 in 5 of your teachers, 1 in 5 of all the parents that you know suffer from some form of diagnosable mental illness that is treatable and beatable and okay. But you got to talk about it. Will didn't talk about it because it's also maskable. So I didn't know this. This was 2010. Nobody talked about it. I didn't know that every 13 minutes someone takes their lives. I didn't know that every 2 hours a teenager takes their life. I didn't know that 1 in 10 college kids already thought about how they're going to take their lives. Nobody knew this. I didn't know this. And because I was uneducated and unaware, my son died. I'm convinced of it. I thought depression was a choice. I thought it was a character flaw. And if Will would have told me he was depressed, I would have talked him out of it. You know why? Because I'm a good salesman. But I was uneducated and I was unaware. And I remember thinking, why didn't he talk about it? Why does nobody talk about this? This stigma is unbelievable. I didn't know it existed. And I remember thinking, how am I going to survive? I'm a glass half full guy. I'm a motivational guy. How am I going to do something about this? I didn't know what I was going to do. And that weekend, that Monday at Will's funeral, I was giving the eulogy, and all of his teammates were on the right-hand, left-hand side of the church in their jerseys, and I was talking to them about how Will just loved being on the team. He didn't care if he scored the goal. He didn't care about winning and loss. He just loved being with you guys. So honor him by being there for each other and loving each other. And while I'm talking, while I'm giving this eulogy, I started to pick out my old friends. Mark Savard was the other guard when I played basketball in 7th grade. Jimmy Bartels was my Little League teammate. Randy Karen and I were in the band. Over 30 of my life friends were at that funeral. Remember, I grew up in Chicago. That funeral was here in Atlanta. These were the friends that I learned about life with. These are the friends that I sat in rooms like this. These were the friends that I shared the psycho teachers with and the crazy coaches with and the ridiculous schedules. that you all go through today. You go through it together. I went through it with them. I learned about life. I shared my first. When I got into college, I called them. When I got engaged, I called them. When I made the big leagues, I called them. All of the groomsmen in my wedding were there. And it hit me while I was making the eulogy that the greatest friends of my life were here. The friends that really understood me. And I met them when I was Will's age, when I was your age. You guys have already met some of life's greatest friends. Rejoice in that. Understand that. Know that. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a foundation that is going to teach kids that love and hope, and perhaps what's most important, understanding, is sitting right next to them in rooms like this and on the various teams that we're all on. Who best understands what it's like to be a freshman at Innovation Academy than another freshman? Who best understands what it's like to be a senior here at this school? Your mom? No. Your dad? No. Your teachers? No. Another senior. I'm a 62-year-old guy. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to retire. I still have kids in college. How am I going to pay for that if I retire? Well, if I want to retire, then what if I live to 90? How am I going to pay when I'm 90? How am I going to do that? Do I talk to my wife about that? Does she really understand that? Kind of. My kids certainly don't. But you know who really understands it? Another 62-year-old guy who's trying to do the same thing that I am. This power of peers, this power of understanding is so important. The issues that exist here are very similar to the issues that exist here. So understand, you have people in your lives right here in this room that get you. So take advantage of that. Be that source of hope by listening. Be that source of inspiration by creating a culture right here where it is okay to not be okay. It's hard. I'm going to speak to your parents tonight. And I'm going to start the message by saying, parents, you are not listening to a doctor. You're not listening to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or any sort of medical professional. You are listening to a dad who misses his boy. But I've gone through something, and I've learned something that I never realized. Spending this time with the Will to Live Foundation, which was created the day that funeral happened. Concept of life friends and life teammates, and who are your life teammates and do they know? It made me spend time with kids your age. And I started to realize, I started to see the world, I tried to see the world through your eyes versus my eyes. I graduated from high school in 1980. It's a lot different. I was looking at Will's life through 1980 eyes. Just once, I wish I would have looked at Will's eyes through 2010 eyes. Because it's different. And the one thing that really jumped out at me that I never once thought of before was, this is hard. You guys have it harder than I did when I was your age. You have it harder than your mom and dad did when they were your age. You have it harder than all of your teachers did when they were your age. Every trusted adult in your life did not have it as hard as you do today. You don't hear that very often, do you? And when I say this to your parents tonight, I'm going to get that look. Typically from dads, I get this look, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're telling me my son has it harder than I did, and I walked uphill in the school both ways with no socks in the snow? I'll see, what else you got, Dad? What else you got? Well, I got my first car when I was 22. He's 17, he has a car. Oh, that's a good one, Pop, that's a good one. What else you got? Oh, there's just no way that in today's world I didn't have any of these great things that my son has. And then I'll say, Dad, let me ask you a question. Did you have that when you were your son's age? Did you have that when you were in middle school? Did you have this when you were in high school or college? He will say no. And I'll say, I win. What comes with this, what comes with the Internet of Things, what comes with 24/7 constant barrage of information and constant demand for information is unlike anything that the adults in your life had to deal with when they were your age. This is really hard. You still have to do it. But I want you guys to know it's hard. I just wish one time, just once, I wish I would have said to Will, wow, this sucks. I didn't have to do this. Maybe he would have said, oh, thanks, Dad. I would have shown him that I get him, that I understand. But no, you know what I was telling him? Look at these schools, Will. I was being positive. I was being motivational. Isn't this great? Isn't this awesome? Look at these fields you get to play on. You're going on a road trip and you're only 14. I went my first road trip when I was 19. Isn't this great, Will? Isn't this awesome, Will? Isn't this great, Will? And with every positive, motivational syllable that I uttered, I was driving a gap between us. Because I wasn't creating a culture where it was okay to not be okay. And this is what I'm going to say to your parents. Guys, this is hard for us parents. We don't like to see you not okay. We love you so much. We want you to be okay. And we want you to be okay by dinner. We're clueless. We're clueless. There are no books. There are books. There's no school. There's no classes about parenting. We learn as we go. We learn from what we know. And all the time, while I was saying, isn't this awesome, Will, society was just hammering, whether it was academic or athletic or social, that it wasn't awesome. In fact, it was really hard. In fact, it was full of stress and full of anxiety. Northwestern University, where I went, is one of the finer academic institutions in the country. They would laugh at my application today. I didn't have to get straight A's in AP classes. The University of Georgia came into Northview High School and told my son that he better get straight A's and he better take a whole bunch of AP classes if he wants to get into University of Georgia, a state school. They were wrong. That is not true. I can give you examples of people that are in Georgia right now that did not take any AP classes. I can also give you examples of people that are in that did not get into Georgia that took only AP classes. Got into Ivy League but didn't get into Georgia. You know why? There's not enough spots. The world has gotten smaller. The world has gotten more competitive. And it's pretty soon, in April, you're going to see seniors with tears in their eyes because they didn't get into Georgia. But they didn't get in because they were bad. They didn't get in because they sucked. They didn't get in because there's not enough spots. Every boss that I have ever had in my life did not go to a school as good as Northwestern, where I went. Yet every boss I have ever had in my life deserved to be my boss. Do you know why, guys? It is not the school. It's you. They're all good schools. How many examples do you want me to give you of CEOs and executives and billionaires that didn't go to Georgia or didn't go to Ivy League or that didn't go to college at all? It's not the school. They're all good schools. It's you. Remember that. When people come to work for my company, it's a global IT services company. They come to interview with me every year. Not one time have I ever said, what did you get in AP Lit your sophomore year at AI? Oh, you got a B? That's going to hurt you. I don't even ask what their grade point average is. Yeah, I see that they went to college. I might see that what their major was, whatever it might be. But how did they look me in the eye? What was their presence like? How did they answer the unanswerable question? When I asked them something that was ridiculous, how did they answer? When I asked them something that I knew they didn't know, did they try to BS me and answer it? Or did they say, I don't know that? When they make a mistake, are they going to take ownership? What's their sense of urgency going to like? Are they going to show up a little bit early? Are they going to stay a little bit late? What kind of a team player are they? What kind of a team player are they? I can't tell that from a Harvard degree. I can't tell that from a Georgia degree. I can't tell that from a Kennesaw State degree. I cannot tell that. But what I can tell you is that it's not the school, it's you. I look at the athletic side of things too, same thing there, right? If you don't make a travel team when you're 10, you're not going to play high school sports. I didn't have to deal with that. When I talk about social media, thank you. When I talk about social media, I could talk about it for hours. When Debbie Feeker dumped me when I was 15, by the way, she regrets that. Nobody tweeted it. It wasn't on Snapchat. It wasn't on any social media. It wasn't on Facebook. When Will's girlfriend broke up with him 6 weeks before he died, Facebook was the only social media back then. That's how he found out about it. Dude, she dumped you. What? Yeah, it's on Facebook. I didn't have to deal with this. I wish I would have said that to Will. Wow, I didn't have to do this. This is hard, man. How can I help? But I was uneducated and I was unaware and I didn't understand. And it bothers me so much that Will never said to his friends, yeah, my dad gets me. Oh, you know how hard that is for me? This is 14 years. I think about that every day. He didn't think I understood him. And he's right. I didn't. But what I have learned from his life is that his brothers and his sister, they do know that I understand now. Because I tried to see the world through their eyes rather than my eyes. I'm still annoying. I'm still a pain in the butt. But at least I get them and I understand them. And that's going to be the challenge I'm going to say to your parents tonight. Are your kids saying to their friends, yeah, my parents get me? I'm sure Will said my dad loves me. I'm sure Will said my dad's a good guy. I'm sure Will said we're good buddies. But he doesn't really understand me. I didn't create a culture where he could say to me, Dad, I'm not okay. His friends didn't create a culture where he could say, hey guys, I'm not okay, because they didn't know to. They were uneducated and unaware. And I think this whole concept of life teammates becomes so important. You guys have met some of life's greatest friends. Are you telling them? Are you sharing with them? Are you giving of yourself to them, if that makes sense? Are you telling them that you're there for them, that you love them? If I gave you guys all a homework assignment, everybody in this section here, here's your homework. You're going to get married on Saturday. This Saturday. All right, boys. Who are going to be your 6 or 7 groomsmen at your wedding this Saturday? Girls, who are going to be your 6 or 7 bridesmaids at your wedding this Saturday? Think about that for a minute. Just think about that for a minute. Those friends that you'd want to stand up there for you on one of the most important, critical days of your life, right? Those friends. Now I'm going to ask you another question, really important. Think about those friends. Now think about this. Do they know it? Do they know that if you were to get married this weekend, you'd want them next to you because you care so much about them? Do you know what they would, the power you have by saying something like that to those friends? You're telling them, I'm there for you. You're creating this culture where if you're ever struggling, you're going to call me, right? Because I'd want you in my wedding. And if you guys are a little bit embarrassed about it, if I can get a big old football player to say, dude, if I was getting married Saturday, you would so be in my wedding, brother. I'm giving. I would feel better. Think about that. When was the last time you dropped a love you man on one of your friends? Think about this. It is so key. Life is hard, and sometimes you need your friends to help you get through it, and that's what life teammates do. And this message was so strong that we even have a National Life Teammates Day on October 14th every year. So on October 14th, I hope everybody in this school sends texts out saying, I love you, man. Because that's what Life Teammates do. I am here for you. Life is hard. I get you. But then there's this cold fact that all of us, every single person here, often feels like we are on a team of one. Will was the captain of his lacrosse team when he took his life without telling anyone. He didn't share with anybody. He felt like he was on a team of one. Now, there are situations where someone may have just moved here. This might be the first day at Innovation Academy for somebody. They don't have any life teammates here. They don't know anybody. So what are you going to do about it? Bring them onto your team. You'll feel better. I challenge you guys to be thinking that way. The power you have to deliver hope to your friends and to deliver hope to strangers in your life. And when you give of yourself that way, it makes you feel better. I don't know if the signs of suicide is done here in 9th grade at this school or not, but I know it is, right? Paid for by the Will Live Foundation, paid for, implemented in every single school in Fulton County and Cobb County and Forsyth County by a bunch of high school kids that grasp this message that life is hard and sometimes we need a friend to help get us through. And we raised money and we funded this because you guys have friends that are struggling. And when you hear somebody that's struggling, you're going to act. You're going to acknowledge that you know that they're struggling. You get them. You understand them. And you're going to care. You're going to show them the love and hope that they may not be able to see just now. And then together you're going to tell a trusted adult. The fact that this school asked me to be here shows how much they care. They want you guys to be talking to each other and creating that culture where you do talk to each other and together you go get help. Because depression is an illness. It's not a choice. And an illness that doesn't get treated can lead to a tragedy. It is not a choice. It is not a character flaw. It's real. Okay, we're going to have some fun with me. Being an old baseball player, I was a pitcher. When I gave up a home run, that was bad. When I struck somebody out, that was good. That's all you need to know. This is Fenway Park in Boston. It has a big wall in left field called the Green Monster. That's Mark McGwire. For those of you who don't know baseball, that was bad for me. It was so bad for me. Whoops, hold on. It was so bad for me that it's hard for me to look at. Fenway Park has this huge wall in left field, and then there's netting above the wall in left field, and the ball went over the netting, and then it went over Lansdowne Street, was on the other side of Fenway Park Stadium. It went over the bars on the other side of Lansdowne Street. It landed, this ball that I pitched and McGwire hit, landed on the Massachusetts Turnpike. You guys are looking at the guy who gave the longest home run in the history of Fenway Park. Thank you very much. Yeah, that sucked. Nothing good about that, guys. Nothing good about that. It was on ESPN Play of the Game. It was everywhere. I'd spent my whole life trying to make the major leagues. I finally made the major leagues. I gave up this moonshot. They're going to send me back down to the minor leagues. Big difference between the majors and the minors. In the minor leagues, when I gave up a home run, all 300 people in the stands knew that I sucked. In the major leagues, when I gave up a home run, 40,000 people were there screaming at me. It was in every single newspaper the next morning. That was before the internet. You guys deal with things like that every day. You guys wake up today, and I'm going to tell this to your parents. Our kids wake up knowing that if they do fumble, they do make a mistake. The odds are everybody they know is going to know about it by dinner. And that next day, after I gave up that home run, I was not happy. And I was in Boston, and my best friend from high school was there, and I took him to lunch with a couple of his colleagues that I had left tickets for. And he said, John, I know you're upset, but is it safe to say that when you were a kid, when we were playing catch in our backyard, that you dreamed about someday striking somebody out in the big leagues? I said, yeah. He said, John, you did that last night. I was in Fenway Park. I saw my best friend in a Red Sox uniform get his first major league strikeout. I was so happy for you, John. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here at this lunch table, pissed off, miserable. You know what I said to my buddy? I said, wait, I did? I was so obsessed with the negative in my life that I couldn't see something so positive that I had actually achieved a lifelong dream. I was so obsessed with what was going on the left-hand picture of giving up that home run that I didn't even remember the right-hand picture where I got my first strikeout. Sorry, guys, this is... Sometimes it takes a friend. Sometimes we can't see the good that's there. Sometimes it takes a friend to show it to us. That afternoon, I went back to the film room and I saw where the pitch was that Mark McGwire hit the home run. Right down the middle is an easy pitch to hit. My pitching coach said, Troutwine, don't throw the ball down the middle to Mark McGwire. My teacher told me what not to do. My teammate, Wes Gardner, looked at the picture on the right. He said, what was that pitch? Outside corner, it was low, it was a sinker. John, that's your pitch. You need to throw that more often. That's what got you here, John. Stick with what got you here. That's the kind of stuff. Your ball moves, throw it. My teacher told me what not to do. My teammate told me what I should do. My teammate helped me build a plan. Never underestimate the power you have as teammates. A compliment from a teammate is so much more powerful than a compliment from a coach. You guys get that, and you understand that. And it was so important as we move on in life to learn from what it is that we do well. My teammate told me, you do that well, do it more often. What do you guys do well? And did you do it today? What do you guys love to do? Did you do it today? If you love to play the piano, play it. You love to read? Read. You love to run? Run. If you don't do these things that you love to do, guys, you know what happens? Life gets in the way. And the stress and the anxiety gets worse because you guys have a schedule where life can get in the way and can dominate you. What do you love to do? What are you good at? What's your major going to be in college? What do you love to do? What are you good at? What's your summer job going to be? By doing things that you love to do and getting that into your life, you create this positive passion. And sometimes it's very simple things. Sometimes it's very little things. Sometimes it's nothing more than looking at a sunset. Look at me right now, guys. My son took his life in my house. The person on this earth that made me the greatest thing I could be, a dad, lost the will to live and took his life in my house 14 years ago. But look at me today. I woke up with a bounce in my step. I couldn't wait to be here. I'm going to be here again tonight talking to your folks. You know why? Because I love this and I'm flipping good at it. Isn't that interesting? I have put myself in my unique abilities. I've put myself right in my zone. I'm a people guy. I'm a sales and marketing guy. Why am I sitting behind my desk looking at a spreadsheet? I should be out with my customers. I should be out with my people. I should be building relationships because that's what I'm good at. What are you good at? Can you do it today? Find a way. And if you don't understand what it is you're good at, if you don't know what your unique abilities are, ask your friends and really listen to them because they get you and they understand you. It's a powerful thing because we all get told, and I'm sure you're going to get told this week, children, learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are learning opportunities. Root cause analysis, preventive maintenance, corrective action, and continuous measurement. Learn, children, learn. I'm going to go one better. Learn from your successes. What's happening in the class where you're getting an A that's not happening in the class where you're getting a C? Why does this customer hate us, but this customer love us? Oh, well, we made mistakes for them. I said, well, no, we make mistakes for these guys too. What are we doing differently, guys? Well, John, you meet these guys every quarter. You only meet these guys once a year. So the relationship isn't as strong. So maybe you should do that more often. Good point. What is it that I do well, and can I do it more often? I challenge you guys to learn from your successes. And I challenge also for you guys to recognize just what a success is. It doesn't have to be the home run. It doesn't have to be an A. Teachers, every once in a while, rejoice in the B-, because this is hard. This is hard what you guys are having to do. And creating some positive passion is going to be so important. What do you think that coach is saying to the player? I think he's saying, great job, let's go to dinner tonight. Being an athlete, I had hundreds of coaches, over 200 coaches. 7 of them get Christmas cards from me 30, 40 years later. Why did those 7 get a Christmas card? Because I stopped and thought about that. They gave me that face. When I messed up, they gave me that face. But they also gave me that face when I did well. Troutwine, you finally did what I told you. You boxed out, you got the rebound. Great job, I'm proud of you. Way to go! You good? Attaboy. Positive passion. That was the kind of coach who was showing me that he loved me. That was the kind of teacher that I would go back and visit my freshman year in college over Thanksgiving break. You know why? Because I knew they cared about me. I knew that they loved me. They gave me that message. They were hard on me, but they also rejoiced in my successes. And that's so important. I challenge you teachers to be that teacher that these kids come back and visit when they are in college. You hear about or death by 1,000 cuts all the time. I'm challenging you guys to start looking for the little things. When Will died, I was a mess, and I didn't know how I was going to get through. But my senses took over, and I started recognizing little things. I started recognizing I love yous. I started recognizing sunrises and sunsets and pretty skies and just nice gestures. And I needed that. I needed just a base hit today. Every year we do our Where There's a Will, There's a Way 5K. It's very fun, put on by the kids at Northview High School, and this year we raised $200,000. About 1,000 people were there. A couple years ago we gave a shirt. We always give the 5K shirt. And on the front it said the will to live, and on the back it had a semicolon. Has anybody ever heard of the Semicolon Project? It's a very powerful project. And people were saying to me, John, what's with the big old semicolon on the back of the shirt? I said, well, think about what a semicolon means. Sometimes the sentence doesn't need to end. Sometimes we just need to pause and we continue. Very powerful. So what do we do when we pause? Do we breathe? Do we pray? Do we sing? Do we dance? Do we do something that we love to do? Do we give ourselves me time? Think about that, because life is hard sometimes and you're going to need to pause. What I have learned about the pause is during those times, I go where the love is. The love could be my friends and my family, just being with them and talking to them and being there for them, being there with them. Or the love can be something that I love to do. And I do that. And then I continue. I really wish that my son would have heard something like that 15 years ago. Life is hard. Sometimes we need to just pause, take a deep breath, do something that we love, and then continue. Give yourselves some me time, guys. Book it, because if you don't book it, it won't happen, because life gets in the way and your 24-hour-a-day schedule takes over. You can squeeze in a half an hour to read or write or run or play or whatever it is that you want to do. Tonight I'm going to talk to parents. I'm going to tell them about my groomsmen who came to my rescue, those life friends. I'm going to ask them, do your kids know who your wedding party was? Do they know the relationships you had when you were their age? Do they know your challenges? When your kids come home, do you do what I used to do? Do you say, hey, how was your day? You got it, brother. I don't say, how was your day anymore. You know why? Because I know how your day was. You were in school. Your day sucked. I'm not going to ask that anymore. I'm going to ask, who's your craziest teacher? You got any friends that are struggling? Can I talk to you about my day? And I'm going to challenge your parents to do that. The parents just want to be part of your lives. They want to know. But I'm saying, you guys don't want to talk about how your day was. Hey, Tommy, my son Tommy. Tommy, how was the test? What did the teacher say? Did you go to practice today? Was it good? Tommy, I had to let somebody go today. What? What do you mean, Dad? You fired somebody? Yeah, it was really difficult. Well, what's he going to do? How's he going to get money? Does he have family? Does he have kids? Yeah, it does. It was really hard. Oh, Dad, what? All of a sudden, he wanted to talk to me because I shared something about my day. That's the challenge I'm going to give to my parents, but it's the same challenge I'm going to give to you when you're at dinner tonight. I'm going to tell your parents to say, hey, you want to get your kids to talk at dinner? Ask them who's going to be in their wedding. If you're getting married this Saturday, who's going to be in your wedding? I did that with my kids. It was hilarious. My two boys were like, not Tommy. I don't want to be in your wedding. I hate you. I hate you too. I said to Susie, at least they're talking. Find a way to get over that barrier and really talk and understand and improve your relationships with your parents. And I'm going to challenge the parents to do the same, to improve the relationships. Because if I can do that, if I can improve the relationships in your lives, I am going to improve your happiness. I'm going to improve your will to live. And that's what this is all about. And this final slide, it just challenged you guys just to remember these things, that you have teammates in your life, but occasionally you have friends that feel like they're on a team of one. You know how that feels. You've been there. You understand them. Show them. Create that culture where it really is okay to not be okay and you can talk about it. You have the opportunity to deliver hope to your friends, so don't wait. Do it now. Because life does get in the way. Talk about teams all the time. None of us are as strong as all of us. Those of you in music, nobody can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it. Be somebody's harmony. You'll feel better. Finally, and probably the one that's most important, be that source of love. You know, we talked about that, when you, the semicolon, when you pause, when you're struggling. If you're having a really good day, be the source of love for your friends. But if you're really struggling, go where the love is. If I can get you guys to say I love you, I can get you guys to say, hey, I'm not okay. So now what I want to do right now is in honor of the life teammates in your life and the friends in your life and the future bridesmaids and groomsmen in your life, I want everybody in this room right now to turn to the person next to you and say, I love you, man. All right, stop. Jeez. Stop. Guys, this happens. It happens every time. All I asked you guys to do was turn to the person next to you and say, love you, man. You guys are hugging each other. And there's this big, huge wave of positive energy that goes through this room. And you know why? Because it was a good thing that you just did. And I'm telling you, I'm begging of you to think this one through a little bit. Who is the benefactor? Who is the true benefactor of the I love you transaction? I used to always think it was the receiver. I now totally believe it's the giver. Drop a love you man on a friend. You'll feel better. I love you guys, and I wish you guys all the best. Tell your parents to come because they need to hear this. Love you, man. Thank you, everybody.